Markle and that fake pregnancy literally was the story that everybody talked about. It's all over the digital platforms, and now, finally, Meghan is hitting back. As ever, let me explain. Morning, good to see you, chums. Thank you so much as ever for taking the time out to join me. Welcome one and all brand new subscribers in this beautiful enclave sun-drenched corner, of course. It's always nice to share the weather with you. I know a lot of people say to me, are you obsessed with the weather, Neil? But I think we all are, aren't we? It dictates everything, doesn't it? Whether you will go out, whether you need a coat, whether you need gloves, whether you do your washing. You know what I'm saying? I don't think anywhere in the world ever really thinks, yes, unless you're living in those beautiful areas, say like the Bahamas or Bali or something. If you live somewhere exotic, let us know in the comments below. We'll all be jealous, won't we, chums? I know, for instance, when it was Australia's summer and you were all boasting, you see. Yes, you were saying to me, oh, Neil, it's boiling hot here. Well, it's our turn now, and this is what happens, isn't it? Everything comes around in the end if you wait, right? Now, here's the story that everybody literally was talking about, because, of course, it's, well, everywhere, isn't it? It's the children that we never see, the mysterious children that are Prince Archie and Princess Betty Lily. And really, it's their own doing, you know, there's no two ways about it. But I would say that both Harry and Meghan have done a lot to stoke that particular fire. And when you also look at it, you know, it's been terrible for His Majesty the King, because he doesn't really know his grandchildren. And let's not forget, of course, if they were speaking, the Prince of Wales, His Royal Highness Prince William, Catherine, the Princess of Wales, they don't know anything about those children either. I do remember being on that particular location when Catherine was asked about whether she'd spoken to Meghan. I can't remember which child it was now, whether it was Archie or Lily, but you know, they really put her on the spot, and she very eloquently got out of it by saying that she was looking forward to it. But of course, that was the only thing she was, because they never really saw them. And I think, you know, Meghan is as much to play for that as, of course, is the main story. But now you see, Meghan does know all of those outrageous stories, some suggest, across the internet, you know, the ones I'm talking about. She literally rifles through the net, social media on a daily basis, and I've told you they have many different accounts, those to counteract, and of course those that they can keep an eye on, etc. Now, they're all called different names, but I just know exactly how they operate, which comes as this particular story as to why Meghan suddenly decided to address her pregnancy, which shocked a lot of people, as you can imagine. You see, during her debut podcast with Lemonada, she basically started to talk about a condition, a medical condition that apparently she'd had when she was pregnant. Now, in fairness, she didn't detail which pregnancy, whether it was the boy or the girl. So why now? Well, it's quite frankly, this has been advice given to her, and more importantly, something that she wants to counteract. But you see, there was a lot of stories, as we all remember, during the pregnancies of Meghan cradling the bump at every opportunity. Now, I didn't have a problem with that, you know. It doesn't really affect men, so we don't know whether that's right or wrong. But of course, the big stories were all of those things that, as I said, people have spoken about on other platforms. Now, what I find fascinating is that Meghan now thinks, or does she, that this will shut down all of those rumours, those stories, etc. One might suggest differently, and of course, as Harry is over here in London currently at the High Court, basically trying to suggest that he needs, well, higher security when he returns back to the United Kingdom with his children and his wife, whom many suggest will never return to these shores. Well, consequently, again, everybody's talking about Meghan, but for all the wrong reasons. And what's fascinating as well is, if you look at the bigger story, naturally Meghan, as many suggest, would have to have a medical emergency. We all knew the problems, for instance, that Catherine, the Princess of Wales, had during her pregnancies, feeling sick, all of that sort of stuff, and of course with Prince Louis. So naturally she couldn't let that go without some kind of bombshell. And this, I believe, is what she believes will help sell the podcast, which is supposedly about business. But consequently, once again, Meghan, as Spotify found out on a number of occasions, has managed to turn it all back about one of her favourite topics, herself. But this time, going into the very dangerous territory of her own 2 pregnancies. Neil Sean, Kensington, London.